your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We've got a great lineup for you, as always. Gunnar Branecki on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's our home security and automation expert, Guardian Protection, a home security company here in Tampa Bay. Also, Jennie Restrepo in the house. She's got a really unique story and a situation out of Broward County dealing with home ownership rights and what to do when you actually have this title theft that happens. Sometimes title theft happens and then the burden of proof is on the victim. They're actually looking at maybe changing that to where it's an easier process, streamlining and fast-tracking that process for people that have been in that position. So we're going to dive deep into a couple of those stories. Also, Tucker Carlson in the news a lot lately. We're going to play a clip from Elon Musk's Twitter regarding the Tucker Carlson latest from him. And before we do, we always like to feature our real estate listings live on air. It's part of our strategy to help sellers sell faster for more money here in Tampa Bay. We're a top 100 ranked real estate team. Keller Williams Realty, the #1 real estate company on the planet, with over $2 billion in sales locally, just out of our 3 offices. So we got a hot listing here at 3704 Burger Road in Lutz, Florida. This is a $2.4 million listing from the Platinum MVP team, Libyan Coastal Elite. And we've got 3704 Burger Road, 10,000 square foot home. This is 10 bedrooms, 12 baths, no CDD or HOA. You've got an indoor pool area with a full bar and an oversized deck. Beautiful property. Check out the photography online, compliments of Fabre Frameworks. They do such a great job with our real estate photography. Full tennis court, library, movie theater, sauna, 2 master suites, grand balcony, and more. Burger Road, Lutz, Florida, one of our hot Hillsborough County listings. Beautiful mansion right up in North Tampa Bay area there. We also have a property in Lakeland. We've got very motivated sellers here at Edgewater Beach Drive, 1312 Edgewater Beach Drive in Lakeland. This is a waterfront, lakefront home. So you can bring your boat. You got a beautiful boat dock. This is a 2-story home on Lake Parker, over 3,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bath, no HOA restrictions. Wood-burning fireplace in the living room, beautiful pool deck, fire pit, move-in ready. Great property in Polk County, 1312 Edgewater Beach Drive, Lakeland, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
And yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
And I want to do a quick shout-out to our friends at InnovativeSolarFL.com. Innovative Solar. If you're thinking about adding solar onto your property, reach out to Innovative Solar. They do a great job here locally in Tampa Bay, residential or commercial properties, and the price of solar has come down significantly over the years. So I highly recommend InnovativeSolarFL.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, Jennie, welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
Hey, my pleasure, and I appreciate you doing some research and having really, awesome stories to bring to the show and kind of educating our audience out there. So tell me about this new ownership rights and some of the issues that happen.
Sure. Usually I come with all of the bad news about all of the crime and fraud that's going on, and this is adjacent to that, but I found this article in the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, and it quoted the Chief Justice for Broward County said the process for homeowners to restore their ownership rights after being victims of fraud is reprehensible. That was the quote in the article.
Wow.
And so what they are trying to do through the Broward court system is create a more streamlined process so that if you do become a victim of title fraud, that there is a set process, that it is streamlined, and that it's not going to be months and months going through the legal system, hiring attorneys, basically spending money to get your own home back.
Right. Yeah, because on previous shows we talked about, if you're not sure what Jennie's kind of referring to, a lot of the records are kept online, and there's criminals out there. There was a gentleman by the name of Matt Cox. He's kind of rehabilitated, criminal, but now you see him on TV doing commercials for some of these other, big companies that will, help you or prevent the title fraud, kind of like a credit check, kind of one of those systems. But there's ways that these guys can go in online and create false documents and record documents and things of that nature. I don't want to peel back the onion too much and give anybody ideas. But the next thing you know, as a homeowner, what happens, Jennie? You look up and all of a sudden your home's in somebody else's name, or maybe a moving truck shows up to your home one day.
Or you're getting evicted from your own house. All of these terrible things can happen. And I know it's like people think, oh, when identity fraud first came out, no one can be me, I'm me.
Yeah.
No one can steal my house, I live in it. It's attached to the ground.
Right.
But unfortunately, they can. And included in that story was that the Broward County Property Appraiser's Office has put together a task force to start looking for some of these red flags, because some of the things that you may not be aware of is almost all of our records are online, and almost all of these fraudulent documents can be recorded electronically and remotely, and there is no one at the clerk's office that is reviewing it to see, oh, this doesn't look right, or maybe this doesn't see, they're not cross-referencing any data, nothing. So really, as long as you format it properly and pay the fees, then they'll record it.
Just rubber stamp it.
Rubber stamp it. So what can you do? I mean, now I said all these bad things, but what can you do to protect yourself? Well, knowledge is power in this situation. You definitely want, in our Tampa Bay area, there's a service that's offered by the county. It's called Property Fraud Alert. So Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco for sure, and other counties here in the state. Just Google Property Fraud Alert and your county, and you can register your information so that if any document is recorded with your name on it in the clerk's office, you will get a notification. So finding out fast is step number one.
Yeah.
The other thing is, go to your property appraiser website and just type in your address. It should say your name, or if you have it in a trust, or it should say what you think it should say.
Yeah.
And the last recorded deed should be the one where you purchased the home.
Right.
And if it's not, you need to contact the property appraiser's office or contact a real estate attorney, because something is happening. But other things to look out for: if you start getting weird mail in a name that is not your own and you've never seen before, start doing some digging and asking questions, because that shouldn't be just all of a sudden happening. And you really can't prevent someone from stealing your title if that's what they want to do, but you can stop it from going further than just a fake deed.
Yeah.
Because the end game for these criminals is that they're either going to try to sell your house to an unsuspecting third party, or I read another article, this woman tried to sell the same property to 7 different people simultaneously.
Wow.
Or they're going to try to take out loans against your home and leverage all of the equity, get a check, and then be in the wind.
Right, yeah. There's a lot of ways that this crime can be perpetrated, and the different reasons why, and some of the different strategies that these criminals will use. But if you do, number one, go to your county property fraud alert, just do a search for that.
Yes.
Google search and property fraud alert. You can sign up. That's the way you'll get a note. Have you ever signed up for Google alerts? You can put your name in there. You can put your name of your business or whatever, and you'll see alerts that pop up. Then you can get emailed directly to you. So that's step one. I appreciate that, Jennie. We're talking with Jennie Restrepo here as well from Insured Title Agency in Tampa Bay. Can help you with your title closings, real estate closings, and they do a great job with our real estate properties as well. Longtime friends of the program. So support the local economy by supporting the local area businesses associated with this show at consumerqb.com. That's our website. You can submit an email form there, consumerqb.com. So we're talking with Jennie about these different scenarios. So the Chief Justice in South Florida came out and hopefully and said, hey, we're going to try to streamline this ownership rights. Let's help make it easier for homeowners to restore their natural rights, the home that they already own. So hopefully that happens, and then that may set some kind of precedent and get moved around all 67 counties.
That is the hope, and sometimes it has to start with one. It has to start somewhere. And if you want to read more if you want to read the entire article, or just be in the know and keep up with the different kinds of things that are happening with title and with fraud, follow us on Facebook at Insured Title Agency, because that's where I post all of these stories. That's where this story is posted if you want to read more. But I'm always looking, especially before I come into the show, what's happening right now that consumers need to know about, and how can you protect yourselves?
Yeah. So at Insured Title Agency on Facebook.
Yes.
Follow there.
Yes.
And Consumer Quarterback Show, we'll look to try to share that as well, so it's on our page also. And we've got Jennie Restrepo here in studio. We did kind of the latest series we've had, as you mentioned, was true crime, some of these different crime scenarios. Any other stories come to mind lately?
So the one that I mentioned, a Largo woman was arrested for essentially people were just giving her money. I don't have money to just give to anyone, so I guess if you have it, I don't know why you're just randomly giving it to someone. But unfortunately, you fall into these situations where maybe you met this person at church, maybe you met this person through a friend, maybe this person was recommended to you, or you have friends that invested with them and got a great return. There's always a story behind it, but that's typically how these Ponzi schemes work, is that the person has built a false reputation, but this woman tried to sell the same home to 7 different people at the same time.
Wow.
And these are all cash deals. So it's money changing hands and real estate transactions that are circumventing the typical channels. They're not going through an agent like Brandon and Keller Williams and the Platinum MVP team. They're not going to a title company like Insured Title Agency. They're not doing the proper due diligence, unfortunately, to ensure that I'm buying from the rightful owner. And I would just say, look, if you want to invest and grow your wealth and you feel like real estate is the place that you want to do it, you should reach out to a professional, an agent. As a title company, we can't advise you on investments, but we can do that due diligence and do the title search and ensure that you are dealing with the correct owner who has all of the ownership rights, and that when you're purchasing this property that you think you're going to Airbnb or fix and flip, that you are getting exactly what you think you're getting. So that's how we can help you. And if you're in those kinds of transactions and you have those questions, of course, call us or call into the show and they can connect you to Insured Title. But don't try to go it alone thinking I'll save a couple $100, because you could lose tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars just for trying to save something up front.
Yeah, exactly. What do they say? Penny wise and dollar wise, or something like that. Dollar short, something along those lines.
Something like that.
It's one of those lines. And what the thing is, when you look at the real estate business, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of these different types of gimmicks too. People, we see that in our business too. Oh, we'll do a discounted commission, or discounted this, or if you use this, our mortgage company with this. There's always fine print, and what happens is they basically lock you into doing future business with them in some cases. So it may look like, oh, well, I'm getting a discount. First of all, if they're doing a discount, especially on the listing side, I just taught this class again yesterday called Win with Sellers, and this comes up all the time. It's, hey, Brandon, how do we compete with real estate agents or teams that are willing to cut their commissions? I say, well, that's an easy one. If you're looking at typically a 3% commission, people always want to beat up on the realtors about their commissions, right? So if you break down a 3% commission, 1% typically will go to taxes. 1% is going to go to the broker, or at least, my cut of a little bit of profit for being in business. And then, of course, that other 1% is going to be for marketing, signage, professional photography, spending money on helping the seller sell. So when people come in and say, oh, well, I'll do it for a 4%, or, two on each side, where are they cutting? Right? They're going to be cutting your marketing expenses. They're going to be cutting out the photography, the videos, the different types of marketing that you're going to need to maximize the exposure to get the property sold. So you'll see different gimmicks all over the place, and you just got to be smart about it.
You definitely have to be smart about it. I mean, when you're dealing in real estate, obviously it's a lot of money, and just think about it like anything else. Where is the cheapest the best?
Right.
Other than the grocery store. I fully support the grocery store. That's the cheapest.
There you go. Yeah.
But most of the time, iPhone is the most popular phone. It's not the cheapest phone.
Right.
So you, in this situation, need to look at it like you are working with a seasoned professional person.
Yep.
You don't go to the doctor and negotiate how much you're going to pay for your surgery.
Right.
You don't go to your accountant and say, I want you to do my tax returns and get me the best return, but I don't want to pay you for it.
Yeah.
So if you want to work with a seasoned professional, then the commission that you're paying is so that that person is best representing you.
Yep.
Best representing your interests, getting you top market value for your property, marketing it so you have limited days on market. If you want to do it yourself, you can. But I think you're going to end up leaving money on the table either way, because if you are selling yourself and then dealing with an agent, you don't know all of the ways to maneuver in that transaction.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You're gonna sell for less money than you could have with an agent. And the National Association of Realtor stats show that only 7% of all for sale by owners actually sell. And then of those 7% that do sell, about half, 50%, sell to a friend or family member. So So that's another stat for you. But we're going to take a quick break. More with Jennie Restrepo here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Insured Title Agency. Also, I got a clip I'm going to play regarding Tucker Carlson taking his show to Twitter now. Everybody's kind of wondering, hey, where's Tucker going to land? What's going to happen? He's taken his show that he's had for the last 6 years or so to Twitter, and it's kind of interesting to see some of the nuance and detail that was elaborated on this clip. So we're going to play that clip, and also more with Jennie Restrepo here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
And offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, part of the Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment Division for Keller Williams, and also the Luxury Division and commercial as well. We do commercial real estate as well. We like to feature our real estate listings here on the program, and we got a property at 3413 Lake Palermo Road in Waimama. This is a beautiful property. It's in southeastern Hillsborough County, a little bit more rural, kind of that country feel out there. 3734 square feet. You got 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bath. This is a beautiful Mediterranean style home located in a gated community, open concept kitchen, gourmet chef's kitchen. 3413 Lake Palermo Road in Waimama, Florida. One of our hot real estate listings from the Platinum MVP team at KW. 907 Crenshaw Lake Road is another one of our listings. This is acreage. If you're thinking about having a property and you want to have more land, this one has over 3 acres of land here. Ranch-style farmhouse, 25 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bath. This is in Lutz, Florida, 907 Crenshaw Lake Road. You can see all of our listings, platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, quick clip here.
Elon has come out and he gave him kind of a chilly response. So this has a lot of people talking. He says, on this platform, unlike the one-way street of broadcast, people are able to interact, critique, and refute whatever he or anyone may say. And of course, anything misleading will get community notes. Now, if you're not a Twitter native, Elon's tenure on Twitter has one very dramatic difference from old Twitter, and that's called community notes. That's where they don't remove content or censor it, but they do add notes to it that get voted up or down by users of the platform. And so you might see something from a Democrat nowadays that is absolutely a lie, and guess what? You'll see it in community notes, and that really offends the leftists that have never been subjected to this kind of critique.
So it's kind of interesting now. So you put out content. So where's Tucker going to take his show? What is he going to go to another network? It was an interesting kind of a play of events here that kind of came down the pike from Fox. But now that he's went to Twitter, they have these community notes sections. So that's going to be interesting to see how the community notes, and you can vote on it. So rather than just knocking people off or banning people like they did back prior to Elon's ownership. Now, more free speech. More speech is better. I'm a big proponent of that. All right, so we're going to bring it back here to Jennie Restrepo, Insured Title Agency. What other topics do you think we need to get into, Jennie? And if not, I've got some other scams that we could talk about where people are getting into these fraudulent situations.
Well, we can talk about wire fraud, even though it's an oldie but goodie.
Yeah.
We just had, it was, I think, last week, I was in the office and a buyer was like, oh, I wired the money to something different. And it's like, no. So luckily for that client, she was able to get all of her money back. We stopped it fast enough. But not everybody is that lucky. And so when it comes to wiring money, we tell them over and over and over again, before you wire the funds, call our office number, the number you've been talking to and calling the entire time, the one that's published on our website, the one that's published on our Google business listing. Call that number.
Yeah.
Speak to the same person who you've been dealing with, who sounds the same on the phone, and read off the numbers one by one and confirm. So red flags there. If you wired your escrow deposit, the bank will never change in the middle. So if you wired your escrow deposit to Synovus, that's who we use, then when you are wiring your funds to close, it's going to be to Synovus. We are not going to change in the middle of a transaction on you.
It's not SV Bank, Silicon Valley Bank?
No, it is not. It is Synovus.
Yeah.
And we will never email them, especially not from a Gmail account. And
Exactly. Yeah.
the email signatures are always going to look the same. The language is not going to change, even though if you're typically emailing with someone, you're not hearing that voice. But if it smells fishy, we would rather you call us 4, 5, 6 times before sending hundreds of thousands of dollars than just assume it'll be okay or it's fine. So before wiring funds, always call and confirm. And if something seems off, just think it is and call to verify.
Yep, that's a good point, Jenny. Speaking of SV Bank, the deal, so you remember they went out of business and First Citizens Bank bought them. The decision to acquire Silicon Valley Bank after its collapse has been a home run, quote, home run, said CEO Frank Holding, backed and sweetened by U.S. regulators. Of course, taxpayer dollars going into these deals to help these companies that fail because they mismanaged their books and they didn't hire a person that managed the risk, but they did have the DEI manager for that. Results in a one-time gain of $9.8 billion for the North Carolina-based lender. So there you go. I mean, that says it in a nutshell. This company buys out SV Bank with help of the government and basically taxpayer dollars bailing out this failed bank, and they had profits of $9.5 billion. That is thievery right there. That's another way to steal money from Americans, and it's so frustrating when they do that.
The FDIC, though, is the organization that insures your deposits. So that is the arm of the federal government that said every depositor in that bank was made whole. So me, average person who had my checking account there, I didn't lose any money.
Yeah.
But one thing I thought was different about that situation than I had heard before is that the Silicon Valley Bank, the CEO, their investors, they were not bailed out. They were like, too bad, so sad, which is what they deserved because they were being too risky.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, this overall, though, what happens is you have consolidation. They're creating a bad climate for small banks, medium banks, and they're pushing up the big guys, propping up the big guys. Jennie Restrepo online at insured-title.com.
That's it.
Insured-title.com. Thanks, Jenny. Great stuff today. Appreciate that. Coming up, we're going to be talking with our home security expert, Gunnar Branicki, Guardian Protection here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Home security and automation coming up here. Don't touch that down. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.